Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, the maker and the creator of this universe, and peace and blessings upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we're carrying with our Seerah class, inshallah. Just quickly, recap on what we talked about last week, because the sister wasn't here.
The new bit we covered was the year of sorrow. It was Amr Husn.
Aam al-Huzn, yeah. Aam al-Huzn. What happened in Aam al-Huzn?
The year when Khadija radiallahu ta'ala and Abu Talib passed away.
Yeah.
And I think it was the strongest narration said it was 1 month and 1 day apart. They passed away.
1 month and 1 day, or?
Well, 1 month and 5 days, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's other narrations, obviously, but like I said, one of the strongest narrations is 1 month and 5 days between the death of Khadija and Abu Talib. So what did that have any impact on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Yeah, that was, obviously is Khadija was the closest to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so it was like emotionally it was a big impact on the Prophet, because after, like, as soon as he got the revelation, Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha was the first one to believe in him. She comforted him, like she was always there advising him. She is his wife, so he always talked to her like on a daily basis. It's like he lost someone like really valuable to his life.
What about Abu Talib? What impact, what value did he have on the da'wah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Abu Talib was always helping and encouraging him, but he was a leader of the Quraysh, so that was a big impact, because as soon as he passed away, the other leaders from the Quraysh, they started abusing the Prophet. He never had that protection.
Yeah, and which year? After
10 years.
Yeah, so 10 years after he became the Prophet, that's when Khadija radiallahu anha died and Abu Talib. So just one thing, I don't know if I mentioned last week, when Abu Talib was about to die, the Prophet ﷺ, he was saying to him to say the kalima, the shahada, meaning say la ilaha illallah. I could intercede for you with it on the day of judgment, So he was saying to him to say it, but he couldn't, because a bad company, basically Abu Jahl and another guy called Abdullah ibn Umayyah, they were saying to Abu Talib, are you going to forget the religion of your forefathers? Meaning you're going to give up the religion of your forefathers the last minute before you die. So they disencouraging him from saying the Shahada. And the Prophet ﷺ was trying hard to make his uncle announce the Shahada before he dies, so that he could intercede for him on the day of judgment. So So then that's when basically when two of the ayats been revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of them is that we mentioned last week, that you don't guide whomever you want, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who guides. And also another one which is saying that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the believers will not seek forgiveness for the disbelievers, even if they are close family members to them, after it been confirmed that they would be among the people of hellfire. Meaning, because he died as non-Muslim, so because before they die, there's always that hope that that person could become a Muslim. We don't know, but after they die, that's it. It's been confirmed that they died as non-Muslims. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayah to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying to him that the messenger and the believers, they will not seek forgiveness for someone who dies as a disbeliever, even if they are family members or closer, those who are closest to them, because they have it been confirmed that they are among the people of hellfire. So that's why he couldn't seek forgiveness for his uncle, or say, may Allah have mercy on you or something. He can't do that, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prevented him from doing that, and all the believers as well. So after that, we've said before in the beginning, when he was a child, he had so many incidents that had a lot of impacts on his life, because he lost his mom, he lost his grandfather, so many incidents. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was preparing him And this one again, Allah is preparing him for what is major, what is coming, which is more major than what happened before. But this is one of the major incidents that had a lot of impacts on the Prophet ﷺ, and a lot of impacts on the da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on his message. And I mentioned as well that his relationship with Khadija, so after she died, what used to happen? Muhammad ﷺ, what did he used to say, what did he used to do after the death of Khadija?
He always used to mention her still. And Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, like years after she died, she was still jealous of her.
Yeah. MashaAllah, yeah. So basically, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he never forgot about his wife Khadija, because she was there for him, she loved him, she cared for him, she comforted him, she believed him when people didn't believe him. So she was always there for him. So that's why he never forgot about Khadija radiallahu anha, and he used to say, Inni raziqtu hubbaha, I have been granted the love of Khadija radiallahu anha. So he used to say that in public, and he wasn't ashamed to say that, I have the love of my wife. So yeah, so he always used to mention that, to the extent that Aisha radiallahu anha, she was more jealous of Khadija than any of the wives of the Prophet ﷺ that used to be living around her at that time. She wasn't jealous as much as Khadija, so yeah. And then sometimes she used to say to the Prophet ﷺ, when she used to get so angry, she used to say to him, oh, she was an old woman. But then he used to say, she comforted me, she believed me when people didn't believe me, she supported me. Meaning, yeah, she was an old woman, but so much goodness came out of Khadija radiallahu anha. So yeah, so he never forgot about Khadija, and that shows loyalty in Islam. We should always be loyal to those who are closer to us, to those who have done something for us. And as we believe that inna ma'al usri yusra, after difficulty comes ease. So this is a major incident. This incident here that happened to the Prophet ﷺ is not a minor incident, it's a major incident, because we said that after that, what happened to him? Where did he go? Which city? Ta'if, yeah. What happened to him in Ta'if?
The people, he went to meet with the leaders of Ta'if, and he told them about the message, but they rejected it, and then the Prophet ﷺ told them, what happens here, like what happened in this meeting, just keep it between us. But they said we can't keep any promises. So they told this slave people and the servants and the food stewards and abused Prophet often. And he went to a tree. I think before that, Zayd, his slave.
Yes, Zayd ibn Haritha, yeah.
He tried to protect the Prophet, but he couldn't. And then they went under the tree, and the Prophet made dua.
Yeah. And what was his main concern in that dua?
That as long as Allah is pleased with me, that nothing else matters.
Yeah, mashallah. So even at that difficult moment, they throwing stones at him, he was bleeding and everything. Even at that moment, all that matters to him is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah is pleased with him, if Allah is not displeased with him, that's what matters to him. So and the angel came to him, obviously, and he said to him, if he wants, I could demolish these 2 mountains upon them, but he refused. He said, what did he say?
He said, if one of them could become Muslim from amongst them.
Yeah, could worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that again shows he was fulfilling his mission, and he was always concerned about that. He wasn't concerned about revenge or anything like that, for himself. He was always concerned about the mission that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent him with, which is to convey the message of Allah. So that was a really, bad incident. And obviously, after the death of Abu Talib, because he was one of the leaders of the Quraysh, and they used to have a lot of respect for Abu Talib. But after that, they used to abuse the Prophet ﷺ, not just the Sahaba, his companions, but even the Prophet ﷺ. They used to abuse him and everything. So then, like I said, so after difficulty comes ease. And we will see this all the time, even from the beginning, when his mother died. So in the beginning, when he was born as an orphan, then the ladies that came from the tribe of Banu Sa'd, none of them wanted to take him in the beginning, but after, Halima took him. And after the incidents when the angel came and opened his heart and everything. And then he was returned to his mum. His mum died, but Allah replaced him with his grandfather. After his grandfather died, even though those incidents are major and disturbing incidents to a child, but Allah is always replacing him with something. So Abu Talib would take care of him after, and then after he was a shepherd, then he used to work for Khadija radiallahu anha, then he'd get married to Khadija radiallahu anha. She's one of the richest women in Mecca at that time. He'll get married to her, then he'll become a prophet. She's there to support him. So sometimes after any incidents or one of the difficulties, Allah will bring ease to him. So immediately after this, after Amul Huzn, the year of sorrow, after the incident of Ta'if, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant him with one of the miracles, that is Isra and Mi'raj. And that always should make us remember all the time, after difficulty comes ease. And this is very evident in the Seerah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So obviously, the incidents of Isra and Mi'raj, people used to take a journey for a month to go from Mecca to Jerusalem. That used to take a month. But he went there in one night. And obviously, the Surah Subhana الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, exalted is he, the one who had sent his servants in the night from the Masjid al-Haram, which is in Mecca, to al-Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. So to show him our signs, meaning for Allah to show his signs to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, narrating the incident and saying that he was in this place in Mecca called Al-Hatim, and then Jibreel alayhi salam came to him. He woke him up, and then he took him in riding an animal called Al-Buraq. It's not a donkey, it's like a beast. So they were riding the animal called Al-Buraq to go all the way to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa first. So from Al-Masjid al-Haram in Mecca all the way to Jerusalem to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa.
What was that beast called again?
Al-Buraq. And that, without doubt, that is one of the most amazing nights in the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That night, because of what's going to happen in that night. So that's, without doubt, that is one of the most important and the most amazing nights in his life.
How did they know it's the 27th of Rajab? Because Umar ibn Khattab, the one that said the calendar, right?
Yes.
So, how did the people know that it's 27th of Rajab? The Laylatul Isra?
Well, the calendar is based on the Hijrah, on the migration. When he decided to do the calendar, Umar radiallahu anhu, he based it on the time when they done Hijrah from Mecca to Medina. But in regards to the night of the 27th, there are so many opinions. So some people, they say it's the night of the 27th, but a lot of other scholars, they say it's not the night of the 27th of Rajab. So there is a bit of difference of opinion there. But a lot of people, they say the stronger opinion is the night of the 27th of Rajab. However, because some people, the reason being, they kind of look at the night of the 27th. Of course, it is a major incident, of course, without doubt. But because they want to, in a way, they celebrate that night of the 27th every year. They glorify the night of the Isra and Mi'raj. But the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they never done that. They never glorified that night or gathered together in the masjid, to pray and to celebrate in such a way. So that's why those, they say, no, it's the night of the 27th, therefore we know it, and therefore we have to, in a way, some of them, they say, no, we gather in a masjid or somewhere in that night, as a way of praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his blessing and for the mu'jizah that happened to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and because of the salah, became fard on that night. But like I said, there are differences of opinions. So in this kind of things, the main thing is the incident itself. That's what matters, to be honest with you, is the incident itself. That's what matters here. It's not the time. So they know like which year it happened and everything, and after which incident, so it happened after Amul Huzn and stuff, but they don't really, the same, for example, if it was the importance for us to know the day and the night or the month, because in the Quran, for example, the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن, meaning the month of Ramadan when the Quran was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, letting us know that Quran was given the first time ever to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the month of Ramadan. So there is something important in there. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that it was given in the month of Ramadan, because there is a link there, because obviously, so after Ramadan is the month of fasting, one of the pillars of Islam. And then obviously, so that we know, Ramadan is the month of Quran, so we all do Taraweeh and and everything, and the Ramadan is the month of Quran. But if this was very important, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have mentioned the month of Rajab, at least. Because say like, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr. So meaning, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr, we have revealed it in the night of power, or Laylatul Qadr. But we don't know when is Laylatul Qadr for sure. Therefore, if this was important, Allah could have mentioned the month of Rajab in the ayah. So He wouldn't have told us the date maybe, but would have told us the month. So then we could be, okay, well, we know it happened in the month of Rajab, but we don't know the 1st or the 27th or the 25th or the 20th or whatever. But like I said, so these kind of things, even if we find differences of opinions among scholars, that shouldn't, in a way, make us doubt something or put us off. Because why do they disagree about this as well? But the main thing is the incident itself, is the mu'jiza. It's not the time, the date, or the month. But like I said, so there are some scholars that say the stronger opinion is the 27th of Rajab, but there are others who say no, it wasn't the 27th of Rajab. So yeah. So the Prophet ﷺ, Jibreel came to him in Mecca, so from Al-Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, they were riding Al-Buraq all the way to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, which is in Jerusalem. And like I said, that is one of the most important and the most amazing nights in the life of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, what happened is that he done Salah, he was leading the Salah, and all the prophets and all the messengers were praying behind him in the Masjid al-Aqsa. Just that in itself, that is an honor. Allah has honored the Prophet ﷺ to be the leader of all the prophets and the messengers. So that is an honor in itself. Allah has honored him, ﷺ, because imagine how many prophets and messengers there. Just the ones who are mentioned in the Quran, 25, so 24 and plus Muhammad ﷺ. So imagine, and all those prophets, Ibrahim ﷺ, these are not just like random people, these are messengers of Allah, and these are like one of the great messengers, like Ibrahim ﷺ, like Musa ﷺ, like Nuh ﷺ, Isa ﷺ. So some, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Muhammad ﷺ the leader of all of them, and he was leading the Salah. So he led the Salah in Al-Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, and then after, they were going to the 7th heaven. After that. Before then, Jibreel alayhi salam, or the Prophet was given a glass of like wine, alcohol, and a glass of leban, like milk. And he was told to choose. So he has chosen to drink the glass of milk. So then Jibreel alayhi salam said to him, you have been guided to the fitrah, to the nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning your fitrah didn't make you choose alcohol, but it made you choose milk, and that which is halal for you and for your ummah.
Did Jibreel alayhi salam offer?
Yeah. So then they're going through the heavens now. So Jibreel alayhi salam, obviously with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he's leading the way, Jibreel alayhi salam. So he knocked, because there's the gatekeepers. He knocked, they said, who is there? He said, Jibreel. I am Jibreel. Obviously they all know Jibreel alayhi salam. And then they said to him, welcome, welcome, O Jibreel. Then they said, who's with you? He said, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They said to him, has he been given his mission? He said, yes. Then they said, welcome. So the first heaven, he saw Adam alayhi salam. So it's Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam narrating, which is in the hadith, he says that in the first heaven I've seen my father Adam alayhi salam. So Adam alayhi salam, he said to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said to him, welcome a pious prophet and a pious son. And then, so after that, and obviously he was, obviously the hadith goes long in that hadith that was narrating about Adam alayhi salam, and he says he was very tall, 60 arm length long, taller, because the people in the time of Adam alayhi salam, they were very long, very tall, I mean. So yeah. And obviously he said that he saw on the right side of Adam alayhi salam, those who are living in happiness, and on the left side, those who are being punished. So then, on the second heaven, he saw Yahya and Isa, the son of Maryam alayhi salam. So they both said to him, welcome, O pious brother and a pious prophet. And then he saw on the third heaven, he saw Yusuf alayhi salam, and then he said that he was given half of beauty. So Yusuf alayhi salam was very good looking, was very handsome. So even Muhammad said he was given half of beauty, alayhi salam. And the same thing, Yusuf alayhi salam said, welcome, O pious brother and a pious prophet. And then the fourth heaven, he saw Idris alayhi salam. And obviously Idris is mentioned in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَرَفَعْنَاهُ مَكَانًا عَلِيًّا. We have raised him in a higher status. So meaning Idris alayhi salam. So Idris alayhi salam, he said the same thing. He said, welcome, O pious brother and a pious prophet. And then the fifth heaven, he saw Harun alayhi salam. And then Harun alayhi salam, he said the same thing to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, welcome, O pious prophet and a pious brother. And then the sixth heaven, he saw Musa alayhi salam. When Musa alayhi salam saw Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he started crying. So Musa was asked, why are you crying? He said, I'm crying because of the translation is like a young boy came after me, and more of his ummah will go to paradise than my ummah. You know, subhanAllah. That's why Musa alayhi salam was crying. But however, when he said the literal translation, meaning a young boy, he doesn't mean it in that sense, meaning he's disrespecting Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No, because in the time of Musa alayhi salam, they used to live longer than us, than the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's why for him, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very young. Even though Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was about 50 years old that time, but for him, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so young, like a young boy. And that's why he was crying, because more of the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will go to paradise than his ummah. And plus, because Musa alayhi salam was a prophet for a long time, and he was sent to the Banu Israel, and he had a lot of followers as well from the Banu Israel and everything. So he was crying because he had so many followers from the Banu Israel, and he was with them for so many years, and then all of a sudden another messenger would come who is younger than him, and more of his ummah will go to paradise than his ummah. That's why he was sad. He was crying. And then on the seventh heaven, he will see Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he will say to him, welcome, O pious son and a pious prophet. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was leaning on Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur. Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur is like a Kaaba in the heavens, and the Malaika, they do tawaf. 70,000 angels do tawaf every day. They go, they don't come back at all. So every day, a new 70,000 Malak will come and do tawaf in Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur, and they will go. So Ibrahim alayhi salam was sitting there, leaning on the Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur. And then he said, alayhi salam, he said that I saw Sidrat al-Muntaha, meaning the final or the end place in the heavens, which is Sidrat al-Muntaha. That's the final, that's the end.
Sidratul
Muntaha. So then, the Malaika took him, well, Jibreel alayhi salam couldn't go any further than the just Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jibreel, he reached the Sidratul Muntaha, and he can't, because he's not allowed to go any further than that. So Jibreel couldn't go any further, but Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went beyond that point, and then that's when he saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is just, subhanallah, this is to remember and to link what we said before. After difficulty comes ease. Look, Amul Huzn, the year of sorrow, he was abused in Ta'if, they threw stones at him until he was bleeding. But look at the reward immediately that will come after from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's going to lead the salah with all the messengers, and then after going through the heavens, and all those messengers that he met, all of them will come in him, speaking to him. The angel Jibreel alayhi salam, who is the greatest angel, leading him, and then he's going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So after when he was asked, did you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said, Nurun anna arah. He said, is a light. How can I see him? Subhanallah.
who asked Jibreel alayhi salam?
No, it was Musa alayhi salam who asked him after. It was Musa asked him, he said, did you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said, Nurun anna arah. He said, he's a light. How can I see him? It's Nur. So, so then when he was returning, he stopped by the sixth heaven, which is Musa there, alayhi salam. So Musa will ask him, after ask him, did you see Allah? Then he asked him, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell you? He said, Allah has ordered me and my ummah to do salah 50 times a day. 50 times. So Musa alayhi salam said, oh Muhammad, go back to Allah and ask him to reduce the salah. You know? He said, go and ask him to reduce the salah, because your ummah will not be able to pray 50 times a day. Because I have experience with Bani Israel, your ummah will never be able to do 50 salah a day. So Muhammad went back to Allah and he asked him to reduce it, and he reduced it to 40 by 10. So and then he's going down again, and Musa, he said, what did he say to you? He said 40. He said, go back to Allah and ask him again to reduce it, because your ummah will never be able to do 40 salats a day. So he went back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he asked him to reduce it, and then he reduced it by 10 again, 30. So he's going back, and Musa will stop him and say, your ummah will not be able to do it. Go back and ask Allah. Because this is, subhanAllah, this is Musa advising him, because Musa was a messenger for a long time, and he had so much experience with people that he knew the ummah of Muhammad, there's no way they would be able to do that. So he said, go back to Allah, and Allah has reduced it to 20 and then to 10. And then when he was going, Musa said to him, what did Allah say to you? He said, reduce it to 10. He said, go back to Allah and ask him to reduce it again, because your ummah will not be able to do 10 salahs a day. So Muhammad again went to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has reduced the salah to 5. And that's the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine, a lot of people, they struggle to do the 5 daily salahs, let alone 50. Imagine if it stayed 50. Who's going to be able to do it? Subhanallah. So then, even the 5, Musa alayhi salam still said to him, go and ask Allah to reduce it. Your ummah will struggle to do 5 salat there. So the Prophet said, how can I? Said, how can I do that? Said, from all the way from 50 to 5, I'm ashamed now. I'm embarrassed to go back and ask Allah to reduce it to under 5. Meaning he couldn't ask Allah anymore. Because from all the way from 50 to 5, he said, I can't go back to Allah and ask him. So that night, so the night of Isra and Mi'raj, on the journey of Isra and Mi'raj, that's when the Salah became compulsory upon the Muslims, is the night of Isra and Mi'raj. So then, obviously Jibreel alayhi salam will take him back all the way to Mecca on al-Buraq. So then, in the morning, the Prophet ﷺ, he will start telling the people of Mecca. So he's going to mention it to Abu Jahl. He said to him that last night I went on a journey all the way from Mecca to Jerusalem and I went to the 7 heavens. Abu Jahl was laughing at the Prophet ﷺ, taking the mick out of the Prophet ﷺ, saying to him, you're joking now, this is not true. He said to him, so if I call the people of Mecca now, will you be able to say the same thing that you said to me to them? Muhammad said, of course. So Abu Jahl was calling the people of Mecca, the Quraysh calling them, meaning they're trying to take the mick out of the Prophet ﷺ now. For them, it's a joke. So Muhammad ﷺ told them, and all they started whistling, they started clapping, and then meaning they're laughing at the Prophet ﷺ, saying to him, this is a joke, there's no way someone will be able to do that, because it would take them at least a month to go from Mecca to Jerusalem, at least a month, going and coming back. So there's no way someone will be able to do it in one night. But what they're forgetting is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can make anything happen. Allah has the power. So that's what they're forgetting. Because of the belief is not there, subhanallah. When the iman is not there, subhanallah, you become blind to the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one person, which is Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, look here, see, look at the disbelievers, those who doesn't have the faith in Allah, and look someone who has faith in his heart. He haven't met the Prophet ﷺ by that time. They haven't met yet. So he hasn't heard it from Muhammad ﷺ. So just some people from the Quraysh, they went to him, they said to Abu Bakr, have you heard what your friend was saying happened to him last night? He said, what did he say? So he was saying that he went from on a night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem to the 7 heavens. So Abu Bakr, look at the iman now. Immediately he said, if he said it, I believe him. He didn't say, let me wait, let me go and ask him, let me go and inquire, let me go and ask for more information, and I'm going to ask the Prophet ﷺ to describe everything to me and this and that. He didn't. Immediately said, if he said it, I believe him. See, look at someone who has faith in his heart and look at the ones who doesn't. They are blind to the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even Muhammad ﷺ, he did give them certain signs so that they can believe him. So they asked him, when the people of Mecca gathered around him, when Abu Jahl called them, they said to him, okay, so describe the mosque in Jerusalem to us. Describe it then. If you're saying that you have prayed the night there, you was leading the salah and all the prophets and the messengers were doing the salah behind you, describe it to us. So he couldn't describe much to them because he said to them, I can't remember a lot about the mosque because all he done there, just he was leading the salah and then he went to the heavens. So they said, okay, well, tell us something else. Tell us something else then. So on the way back, he saw an animal, a camel or something, that some people of the Quraysh, they have lost that camel. And they couldn't find it. So when he was coming back on Al-Buraq, he saw the camel. So he told them, I saw a camel that was lost in this place, but they don't know where it is. So when they went to search for it, they found it in that place that he told them. But like I said, yet, because they have no faith, no iman in the heart, they still didn't want to believe. Some of the Muslims, not all of them, only some of them, those who had weak iman. That's why I said last time, it's the majority of the Muslims, they were always firm in their belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter what happens. But only those who only became Muslim recently before this incident and their Iman wasn't strong enough, was not strong enough, they were about to become non-Muslims again. Because this incident for them was too much for their brains to take on, was too much for them to understand and to believe, because they were not at that stage of Iman yet, like Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and like the other Sahaba who have believed in this incident immediately. But those, the Iman was still weak, so therefore some of them, in a way, were about to become non-Muslims again. So this incident is a major incident, like I said. This incident, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored His messenger in different ways. And this night was the most blessed night, the most amazing night, the most important night in his life is the night of Isra and Mi'raj, because he went from Al-Masjid al-Haram to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa to the seven heavens, and he went to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is an honor to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And after all the difficulties, all the difficult moments that he had before, so it was an honor and a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, of course, this incident, like I said, so the salah has become fard or compulsory upon the Muslims in this night. So one of the pillars of Islam, salah. And obviously, it was for Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it was a meeting with all the messengers, well, not all of them, but those, well, he was leading the salah with all the messengers doing salah behind him to show that he's the leader of all of them also. He's the leader of all the messengers. And like I said, remember, there is Ibrahim alayhi salam, there is Musa, there is Nuh, some great messengers there. But Allah has chosen Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to be the leader of all of them. And also to see, so he met some of them as he's going. In every heaven, he will see one of them. So Adam alayhi salam, Isa and Yahya, Yusuf, Idris, Harun, Musa, and Ibrahim alayhi salam. So he saw all of them, and they all like greeting him, they all speaking, to him nicely and welcoming him and everything. And he's going to see, like I said, he saw Yusuf alayhi salam, and he was given half of beauty. He's saying his father, which is the father of the prophets, Ibrahim alayhi salam. In the first heaven, I saw my father, Adam alayhi salam, was the father of all humanity, And he saw Musa alayhi salam, who had so much experience with Bani Israel, so that he was advising him in regards to the salah, and go back to Allah and ask him and everything. And it was an incident for the believers to be more firm in their belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which shows them that Allah is the one who controls everything. And for the salah to become compulsory on that night, so they're going to have to start doing salah now, meaning Allah was preparing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam first and preparing the companions to start connecting with him more. Because now they're going to start doing 5 daily salahs, meaning to connect with Allah 5 times a day. Before, they were connecting to Allah in a different way. When even the salah that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was doing before, it wasn't fard, it wasn't compulsory. And plus, it was in a different way. But now, they're going to have to connect to Allah 5 times a day in a specific way. But before, so Muhammad ﷺ was preparing them, getting the faith, increasing their iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their belief in Allah. So when the salah becomes fard upon them, they are prepared and the hearts are ready to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it shows, again, those who have belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their iman is strong, they believe in everything that comes from Allah and His Messenger. They don't doubt anything. And that is a lesson for us as Muslims, that everything that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, we should believe in it, and we shouldn't doubt it at all. So when we are told in the Quran, for example, after difficulty comes ease, we know that for sure, without doubt. So in the times of difficulties and hardships, and we're going through hard times, we shouldn't forget that after difficulty comes ease. Ease will come sooner or later. Because what happens is, What happens is that a lot of people, when they're going through hard times, they forget that ease will come after. Or they wait for the ease to come. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year. The ease doesn't come, and then they give up. They think Allah will never bring ease to them. But a true believer, he doesn't give up. Even the ease doesn't come immediately. He knows sooner or later the ease will come. And Allah is the one who decides when the ease will come. Allah is the one who decides when, not us. And then for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show that Mecca and even Jerusalem is a holy land, and that the mosque in Jerusalem, that was the first Qibla of the Muslims before it being changed to Mecca. But the first Qibla was Jerusalem, you know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing the importance of Jerusalem to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to the Ummah, because otherwise he could have led the Salah in Mecca, in the Masjid al-Haram with all the messengers. But he led the Salah in Jerusalem, so meaning he shows the importance of the Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem.